Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Watson Michael from Ceylon Institute of English and Leadership. And we have with us today Mr. Michael Norton, a great transformational leader with proven results in NORM. And he's a former president of Ziglar organization. And he's the current executive vice president at XINNIX. And he's the CEO and founder of Tramazing, a great management consultancy firm. So over to you, Mr. Michael Norton. How are you?
I am feeling wonderfully blessed today. It's an honor to be here with you to talk about leadership and just to talk about building people in general. It's kind of a passion for me, so I'm thrilled to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. So, Michael, if you could let us know what does the word leadership exactly mean? What does the word leadership exactly mean?
Well, but in today's world, when we think of leadership, we have to think of the fact that to be a leader, we first have to think about leading ourselves. Leadership means guiding ourselves and others to make good decisions on a daily basis that are going to be the most beneficial for the most people possible. When we think about leadership, there's a lot of great books, a lot of wonderful authors, so many great people that I've learned from, including Zig Ziglar and Dennis Waitley and Stephen Covey and John Maxwell and Ken Blanchard, just all the great leadership gurus, as well as some awesome existing CEOs and other leaders that I've been blessed to meet along the way. But here's one thing about leadership that I'll give your audience early, is that we live in a very divisive time right now. We live in a time where conflicted and not everybody appreciates where their leader is taking them. But the one thing I do know about people and leadership is that even though people may not completely agree with the direction the leader is taking, most people still will applaud somebody who will take the initiative to lead. Leaders to lead as a leader of where I'm taking you. But hopefully you'll trust that I'm doing this in the very best interest of the company, of my family, of my community.
Absolutely. Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you for that clear explanation. So there are many types of leadership actually. So like servant leadership, autocratic leadership, democratic leadership. But we see that many organizations are not practicing that correctly. So how could they transform themselves? Because employees are not motivated, most of them.
Well, one of the quotes that I lean on about this very topic is a quote from who said, "In times of change, learned find themselves beautifully equipped to live in a world that no longer exists." And I think what's happened to a lot of leaders is they've gotten set in their ways. This is the way I've done it. This is the way I've always done it. What we have to understand is we have multi-generational people coming into the workplace. It's like never before. We know that there's differences in the way that they like to connect and collaborate with their team members. And for somebody to have an autocratic or just my way or the highway type of leadership, it just doesn't work. I think as leaders, I'm going to be 60 years old here. I've been around the workforce for 40 years, and I've seen a lot of great leadership, and the best leaders themselves still know how to evolve. We're still evolving. We're still learning. We are not at our pinnacle. As new information becomes available, as great thought leaders produce new books and blogs and podcasts like this, it's incumbent upon us as leaders to be to be the learner. Not be a know-it-all, but the CEO of Microsoft actually sort of his don't be a learn-it-all, don't be a know-it-all, be a learn-it-all.
Great, great, superb. So great, thank you for that. And another thing which I wanted to say was like some people call themselves leaders, but some people call themselves leaders, but they do not follow leadership. Like they waste other people's time. They try to use their work and they make others. They don't basically allow themselves. They don't groom the others. So they waste their time and they don't help them. But they call themselves leaders. So how could that be transformed? And because a lot of people like they get demotivated. They say always like we are wasting time doing things which is not relevant to them.
So I think I'm talking about respect both ways. Respect from
Yes.
the leader to the employees, to your family members, to your community, or the respect from your people up to towards leadership, but just being respectful of each other's times and what we're all doing. So here's the thing, and you probably know this to be true. You've heard a lot of people talk about this. When somebody's interviewed and they talk about the three principles of their organization, so many people will say people, process, and technology. That's how we're successful. And that sounds really good in an interview. It sounds really good in an internal newsletter or on even painted on the wall. But when it comes down to it, the people feel like they are not number one. Even though it's people, process, technologies, everybody falls back on the tyranny of the urgent. People first. From a people perspective, when we focus on our people, when they know that we trust them and we respect them and we like them in that order, you have to earn that trust, earn that respect. But when we can take a people first approach, that means we're going to be appreciative of their time. They're going to be appreciative of our time. They're going to respect our time because they know we have them in our best. They are our primary concern, and we have their very best interest at heart. It's got to be a people-centric leadership position. We're in a tough place in a lot of businesses right now.
Yes.
If we could circle back to be transformative, slow down. Here's the thing. When you build better people, you build a better business.
Spot on. Thank you. Thank you very much, Michael, for the clear explanation. And the final message you were saying about amplifying. So the final message for all the people who need motivation and who want to become the future leaders.
Yeah, and I think the word I would use if I was going to give anybody a tip today is a word that I use a lot in my keynotes and my presentations today, podcast. It's amplification. How do we amplify everything that we do so that we can touch the hearts and the minds of those who we lead? Our job is for ourselves. Amplification means connecting will and skill. It's the distance between our heart and our head. The right behaviors, like doing more of the right things and continuing to learn and grow so that we can have the greatest impact and influence on all the work that we do, but also have the greatest impact and influence on all those on our team that are in our care. So if we can take the time, try this for 30 days, amplify, intentional amplification, intentionally think about how you can step up your game in every area that you're working in right now. Do it for 30 days and watch the reaction.
Brilliant, brilliant. So thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for taking your time to do that. And for all the people out there, just follow Michael's message, take the 30 days and start restructuring from now onwards. So thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.